Hey everyone, it's Stella Grizont doing a Work Happier Weekly to help you work happier, live better because your life is too precious, the people you love are way too important, and your talent is too great for you to waste feeling bored, blah, or miserable at work another day, another hour, another minute. And so each week, for about 15-ish minutes, I like to tackle some hot topics to help you experience more joy and fulfillment and more meaning at work. So, today we'll be talking about how do you talk to your boss when you're feeling unhappy and how do you address it? So, if you are one of those folks who dreads waking up in the morning to face the day ahead, if you are one of those folks who is so tired of pushing and pushing and pushing, and you know in your bones this cannot last much longer, if you are starting to fantasize about other jobs or actively search online, talk to recruiters, or look on what's available on LinkedIn, if you are any of these, then I know talking to your boss may feel like the last thing you want to do because it's a huge risk, because you might feel that your boss just won't get it, especially if your boss is part of the problem. But indeed, it actually may be a good idea to talk to your boss. And here's why. You're you are very expensive to lose. So just from a very bottom line perspective, when a company loses an employee, it can cost around 1.5 times your annual salary to replace you. So that is very expensive, okay? So that's one thing. The other thing is that your team needs you. I mean, this is assuming you're a decent human being and that you're respectful and you can get the job done. So if you're not respectful, if you can't get the job done, then this may not be true. But if you are, then your team needs you, and losing you would really hurt. And third, it doesn't look good for your boss to lose people on his or her team, because that says something about their management. So they want to keep you, even if it's keeping you within the organization, not necessarily on their team. If they're smart, they'll want to do something like that. So, what do you do? Okay. So, what I suggest for folks when they're in this state of feeling miserable and really ready to just they've already set a date in their mind, like, if this doesn't get better in the next 60 days, I'm out of here. uh, if that's you, if you're already feeling like you may leave at any moment, or you're planning on it, maybe it's not today but it's in 3 months or 6 months from now, then here's what I want you to do to prepare for speaking to your boss, because this actually may be a good idea for you. And first, the first thing I want to say is it's about timing. You do not want to have a conversation with your boss when you're feeling angry, when you're feeling resentful, when you're feeling judgmental towards them. Like they're the worst boss ever, or they don't get it, or they're out of touch, or they're a horrible leader. Why are they even in this position? You don't want to talk to them when that is charged in your heart, okay? The reason why is because it's important for you to feel powerful in that conversation and to feel emotionally on a positive level. Emotions are contagious. So if you're walking in there feeling resentful, angry, judgy, then that is going to register on an unconscious level with your boss. And they might not be aware of it, but for some reason, they're resisting wanting to really hear you, wanting to really understand you, wanting to really help you, because on some level, they feel your wrath, or on some level, they feel and they recognize that you feel like a victim. And that is not a position from which someone wants to help you. Hi. So it's really important. The very first thing when it comes to speaking to your boss is that you do some inner work to reframe your emotions around the situation and to walk into that room so that you're feeling curious or positive or open. So, how do you do this? I know this is this is probably the hardest part. The first thing I recommend to my clients is to take a complaint vacation. And this is challenging because you're obviously not happy at work. So taking a complaint vacation, abstaining from complaining may feel almost impossible. But complaining is an embodiment of suffering. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to do this report again. Not, wow, I can't believe I have to do this report again. So it is the embodiment of suffering. So I'm just asking you energetically to not let yourself dive into the deep end of your disappointment, but just to notice, yeah, that sucks. I have to do the report again, but I'm not going to lose my SHIT by doing it. Okay. So you're going to take a complaint vacation. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to start practicing gratitude on a regular basis. Now, this is not something new. You've heard this a million different places. You've heard this from me a million different times. But my question to you is, are you doing it? So I want you, when you're home, to do 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for each day and make them fresh. What are you grateful for that day? Now, the reason why we're doing this is because research shows that if you capture 3 things you're grateful for 6 weeks, you can start to reverse the signs of depression. Your life satisfaction goes up. And we want that shift to happen in you because that's the energy you want to walk into that conversation with, because that's the energy from which someone wants to actually help you. Okay. So the first step before you have any conversations is to manage your energy, to elevate your energy and your mood. Okay. So that's step number 1. Okay. Number 2 is you want to get clear on what is it you actually want to say and ask for in that conversation. Now, what I find most of the time is the first answer that comes into your head is not really what you want. I hear this all the time for clients. I just want an extra 20,000. Okay, so if you were to be given $20,000 tomorrow, would you feel happy at work? And then the person's like, well, I guess I just want my boss to recognize me. Aha, so it's recognition that you want. So sometimes we have to dig a little deeper to get clear on what is it that you're really after. And so what I'd like you to do, if you haven't already done the vision generator, go to visiongenerator.com. That's my free exercise to help you get clear on what it is that you really want. And the key is that you're not describing what you want to have or what you want to do, you're describing how you want to be. And the reason why it's important to get clear on how you want to be is because there's actually infinite ways to support you in being that way. So there may be lots of ideas right now without dramatically changing your job that you could start to feel more satisfied, and it's easy, and there you go. That might create the shift that you're looking for, or it might at least start to help you feel lighter until you find the right solution. And it's from there. You want to be able to describe to your boss the experience you want to have, how you want to feel, because your boss has foresight, can see beyond what you can see within the organization. Your boss knows about developing teams, or your boss knows about new opportunities that are coming up that you don't know about. One of my clients, it was really important for him to get more money. And for him, that was the underlying reason, because he he had a new baby, he wanted to provide for his family, and everything about his job he loved other than that. And so he had a frank conversation with his boss, and his boss said, you know what? There's a new group that's developing. We could get you into a director position in that group. You could skip a few levels and get an advancement in your salary that you couldn't if you stayed on this team. Now, he was lucky he had an amazing boss who cared about his development. The thing is, you really don't know what's on the horizon. And so by stating the experience that you want to cultivate at work, your boss may have ideas. So you don't have to go in there with a specific ask if you don't have one, because you might not know the solution. But what you do know is you want to feel more creative. You want to have a seat at the table. You want to have a team working with you. Whatever it is, you know how you want to feel and be. And that may be enough information to relay to your boss. So you want to share that information. All right. Okay. So the next thing you want to do, once you get clear on how you want to be, you do the vision generator, or maybe you have another way of clarifying this for yourself. There's infinite ways. Is you want to start finding ways for you to, finding ways for you to feel that way. So let's say you want to feel more creative. Well, what can you do without any dramatic changes to your role or without even asking for permission to help yourself feel more creative on a day-to-day basis? Maybe when you come home from work, you start doing some creative writing. Maybe when you prepare your next deck, you add some music or design elements into it. Maybe when it comes to a problem that your team keeps facing over and over again, you sit down and you think about some new solutions. There's things you can do right now that you can take control of to start being how you want to be without asking for any permission. So I want you to actually start acting that way. And the reason why is because that is how you grow your confidence. That is how you also elevate your mood. That is how you witness yourself being powerful. Because when you realize that you can influence your reality and transform it, that's what real confidence is. And that's the state we want you in when you go into that conversation, because your boss is going to want to help you from that powerful place. We know from research when it comes to speaking up that the number one factor to help you have a more successful conversation is how powerful you deem yourself in your own eyes. That's something you have control over. And by taking action that's in alignment with your vision right now, being creative about how you want to be, you will start to elevate that sense of power and control. All right, so the next step is once you're in this, once things are your reality is starting to light up, right? You're doing some gratitude, you're not complaining as much, you're clear on your vision, you're starting to act in alignment with it. Once that happens, now and only now is it cool to reach out to your boss and be like, hey, I want to talk to you about my growth potential here and how I can contribute in a bigger way. Can we set up some time to talk about that? So send him an email, give him or her a heads up. Then in that conversation, before you get into that conversation, I want you to do some more mindset work. I want you to get into what I call a play mindset. In a play mindset, you shift your thinking from being closed down to open, from assuming the worst to looking for delight. So, for example, if you're going into that meeting, you're like, this is going to suck. I'm so scared. I know this isn't going to work. Then I want you to just change what you're saying to yourself by asking yourself, well, I wonder how I might actually be delighted. Or I wonder what's going to happen that's going to actually surprise me. I wonder how my boss might actually do something positively unexpected. Like maybe I actually don't know everything about this situation. So to try to transform your lens from one of assuming the worst, I know he can't handle it, to, maybe, just maybe I might be surprised. Even if that sensation is just 1% of how you're feeling, it is enough of a crack of light to shift how you show up in that conversation. Another thing is if you're going into that conversation and you are thinking, um, you know, I really, I really don't want to do this. I want you to tell yourself, I get to do this. I get to do this. So instead of seeing it as a form of punishment or an obligation, you shift it into an opportunity and a privilege. And you get to, like, one, you have a job that you actually get to influence. You have the possibility to speak courageously to your boss. You have choice. So all of those things are reasons for you to feel privileged in this moment, not just obligated or in a place of dread. Okay, so hopefully you're simmering in this playful mindset. You go in and it's time for you to have that meeting. And what I want you to do is start with the fact that you care about your organization, or you care about your team, or you care about doing a great job. Whatever statement feels true to you, you want to express ultimately that you care. You care about your work, or you care about the team, or you care about the product, or you care about making your boss look good. Whatever is true for you. This creates an invitation for your boss to get on the same page with you because they care about that stuff as well. Okay. And then what you want to say is something like, um, I'd really, to help me contribute greater, or to help me be an even bigger player, or to help me be even more engaged, what's really important for me is to experience more X, Y, and Z. So this is stuff that can come straight out of your vision generator. So maybe it's to experience more creativity, or if it's to know, to get more positive feedback on what I'm doing well, so I can continue to lean on that, because I know where I can improve, but I'd also like to hear how I'm already doing well, so that I can continue to expand on that. So whatever it is that you want to experience more of, whether it's appreciation and recognition, whether it's more creativity, more leadership, whatever, go ahead and state that there, then and there. And then you can say, I know this is the first time you're hearing it, but what I'd like to do is maybe brainstorm ways that I could experience that more, or maybe we can meet back up in a week or two and I just give you some time to think about it. Here's some ideas that I've already considered, or here's some actions that I've already taken to cultivate that, but I need some more support from you. And so then you see what your boss has to say. Now, if there are some things that are specifically making you unhappy, perhaps someone's not treating you well, or the conditions aren't fair for you, or there was an event that happened that really bothered you and is really stings, then you want to go and have a different type of conversation and follow the format that I've shared in the other Work Happier weeklies around how to master difficult conversations. So I'm going to include those links for you guys now if you want to watch them, because they'll go in detail, like word for word, what you say if there is something that is legitimately bothering you. Here we go. So there you have it. So just to kind of recap, the first thing is, Don't go in there when you're pissed off, resentful, or judging your boss, because your emotions are contagious, and the last thing they're going to want to do is to help you if you're already feeling really bad. So to support you in shifting or elevating your mood and your mindset, take a complaint vacation, practice the 3 gratitudes. Then what I want you to do is get clear on really how is it that you want to be at work, so you can really let your boss understand what's important to you. So you do the vision generator or go about it in your own way. Then what I want you to do is start realizing opportunities for you to be that way now and start doing them. So if you want to feel more creative, how might you start doing that right now without asking for permission? Then I want you to have a playful mindset when you consider this conversation. It's not I have to, it's I get to. It's not this is going to suck, but it's, I wonder how I might be surprised or how I might be delighted. Then you go ahead, you book the conversation, you go in there with an open heart. You're wishing your boss well, you're wishing the organization well, and you let them know it's really important for me to contribute in a big way, to feel engaged, and here's what I'd like to experience more of or cultivate more of to really maximize my potential here. What do you think? And then you go from there. And if there's something specifically that's bothering you, you can go ahead and check out the other Work Happier Weeklies. I've linked to them here to walk you step by step if there's anything else. So that was a lot, but I hope it was helpful. The last thing I want you to do is to wait until you're just at a breaking point, or when you've just had it and then you just like quit, or you get like you're fired, and meanwhile you haven't really told the truth about your experience. You may be assuming that your boss knows, or you feel like your boss should know how you're feeling, but you remember, right, from 5th grade, like what happens when you assume? Your boss is not a mind reader. And your boss may think they're doing something that supports you that really doesn't. So, really help create some understanding, because from that, the possibilities are tremendous. I've had so many clients who've come back to me after these conversations saying, "Oh my God, Stella, I can't believe I waited this long. I can't believe I waited this long. This was so much easier than I thought it was going to be." So here's to your thriving. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a little like, a little love. If you have a friend who could really use this, go ahead and share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, or like Whoopa on Facebook so you don't miss any more of these. And I'll see you next week. Good night.